$906,000 in total revenue, $750,000 in cash collected, 281 new clients onboarded into a high ticket coaching program. That is what I helped build in 16 months. And look, the truth is, none of it was mine. See, I was the operator, which I was the person behind the scenes who built the offer, the funnel, the sales, all the systems, landing pages, email sequences, all the backend operations, everything. And today I'm going to tell you what that experience actually taught me, because the truth is, it's not what you think. You see, most people on YouTube who talk about making money online are selling you some sort of bullshit dream. You see, they show you the revenue screenshots, they show you the lifestyle, they tell you to follow their blueprint. I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is tell you what exactly it looks like when you are the person building the machine, not the person on camera, not the person getting any of the credit, the person in the back end making sure the money actually comes in. Because I think there is a massive gap in this industry. You see, everyone wants to be the face of business. Everyone wants to be the creator, the influencer, the brand. But the real people who actually generate the revenue, they're almost never the ones you actually see. And see, I was one of those people. For the last 16 months to current time, I operated as a CEO and partner inside of an online coaching business. The creator I worked with, Alexis Valadares, is an online real estate sales coach where he's the face, he has the audience, and he has the following. My job was to take the attention and to turn it into cash, predictably, consistently, every single month. Let me break down what that actually means. Because when I say I was the operator, people think I was answering emails or scheduling posts, and that's not even close. I built the entire monetization infrastructure from scratch. The offer, we went from a loosely defined coaching program to an actual structured high ticket product priced at $5,000 and above. I designed the packaging, designed the pricing, designed the value ladder so that there was a clear path from the first purchase to the next one. The funnel, I built all the landing pages, the webinar funnels, the VSL pages, every single touch point a potential client would see from the moment they clicked the link to the moment they booked a call. Actual sales system. See, I built the entire call booking processes, the follow-up sequences, the objection handling frameworks. I maintained and managed the pipeline to make sure that leads weren't slipping through the cracks. The backend operations, we're talking about email campaigns, SMS campaigns, course delivery, client onboarding, retention systems, everything that happens after someone actually pays. And the paid advertising. I ran ad campaigns that drove traffic into the funnel. Facebook ads, Instagram ads, actually tested creatives optimized for cost per lead and cost per acquisition. See, all this for 16 plus months. The result? We consistently generated over $40,000 a month. Well, some months we had even over $100,000 with almost always a 70 to 80% profit margin. We onboarded 281 clients where the total cash collected was $750,000 in 2025. Now, here's the part that no one actually tells you. When you build a machine like that for someone else, you learn something that most creators will never learn. You see, you learn what actually makes you money. Look, it's not the content, it's not the following, it's not the brand. It's those things matter, don't get me wrong, but it's not what generates revenue. What generates revenue is the system behind the content, the offer, the structure, the funnel, the sales process, the back end that keeps clients paying and referring new ones. I've seen creators with 200, 300,000 followers struggle to make $5,000 to $10,000 a month. And, I've also watched the business that I operated generate $40,000 a month consistently with a much smaller audience. You see, the difference was never the talent. The difference was never the content quality. The difference was infrastructure. And that is the lesson that changed how I actually think about everything. You see, most creators are sitting on a gold mine and they don't even know it yet. They have the attention, they have the audience, they have the trust. What they do not have is the actual system that converts all of that into cash. See, that is not a content problem. That is an infrastructure problem. And look, that is exactly what I spent the last 16 months learning how to solve. So, the obvious question that everyone always asks me, if I was making good money building something successful, why did I go to help other creators do the same? And look, here's the honest answer. I realized that the skill that I had built, the ability to install a complete monetization system for creators, was far too valuable to just share it with one person. Because look, think about it. I had spent $6,000 learning from Homozy, over $3,000 to $5,000 with Iman Ghatzi. I got consulting.com certified. I've had 16 plus months of real operational experience building every single piece of the actual revenue machine. And I was using all of that for just one business. When I actually looked around, what happened is I saw thousands of other creators in the exact same position that Alexis was when I actually first partnered with him. You see, they had an audience, they had content, they had a following, but they were stuck at anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 a month, all because they didn't have anyone actually building the back end. Look, I knew I could help more than one person, and I knew that the model worked. Revenue partnerships where I build the system and we both win could actually scale beyond one single creator. So I made the decision to go help more creators, to take everything that I had learned and built over the past 16 months and go find more partners who needed it. So let me give you the 3 biggest lessons I learned from the past year and a half, because those are the things that you're not going to learn from a course or a YouTube video. You see, you unfortunately only learn them from actually building the real machine. Lesson 1 is the operator is the most valuable person in any online business. Look, the creator gets all the attention, but the operator is the one who turns that attention into revenue. Without the operator, the creator is just kind of making content for free. And again, I have seen this play out dozens of times. A creator is with a massive following, yet no one actually is there building the back end. And they end up leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table every single month. So look, if you're a creator right now and you actually don't have someone building your monetization system, you're working 10 times harder than you need to. And if you're someone who is, actually good at building systems, operations, funnels, and sales process, you are sitting on one of the most valuable skill sets in the entire online creator economy. Lesson 2, revenue is a system, not an event. You see, most creators treat money like a random event. They launch something, it does really well, they celebrate, they spend money, then they go launch something else, it flops, they panic. See, revenue spikes and drops randomly because there is no real system generating it predictably. See, what I learned is that consistent revenue is actually engineered. It is the result of a specific offer positioned to a very specific audience, delivered through a specific funnel, and then sold through a specific process and retained through another very specific backend system. When any one of those pieces is actually missing, see, revenue becomes unpredictable. When I built all 5, it was predictable $40,000 a month, almost every single month, because the system was running. Lesson 3, you do not need a bigger audience. You just need a better system. See, this is the one that most creators absolutely refuse to believe because they think if they just had more followers, more views, more subscribers, the money would come. See, it doesn't really work that way. I've watched a creator with under $20,000 generate more revenue than creators with 10 times that audience. The difference was the actual system behind it, not the content. An offer that converts, the funnel that captures, a sales process that closes, and a backend that actually retains. Look, if you are a creator right now and your income is inconsistent, I need you to hear this. The problem is not your audience size. The problem is you do not have a real system to convert that audience that you already have into cash. That is the real story, not the revenue screenshots, not the lifestyle. The last 16 months of building, testing, breaking, and fixing until the machine actually worked. And now I'm taking everything that I've learned and doing it again. Not for just any creators, but for the creators who know that they have something that is valuable, but simply do not have the infrastructure to monetize it. So look, if you've gotten this far and you're sitting there right now thinking that sounds like me, I have the audience, but not the system. I have the content, but not the revenue. Then what I need you to do is watch the very next video linked down below, which is actually the exact playbook to make $10,000 a month, even with a small audience, using the exact same 5 pieces of infrastructure that I've built inside of multiple other businesses. If this story made something click for you, that video is where you start. It is linked down in the description below, and I will see you there.